The boy suddenly found something glowing in the distance on the island, so he risked his life to swim 80 kilometers to get close to the island. Sure enough, he didn't see it wrong. With a curious mind, the boy crawled up and took a closer look. He found that the light source was from air. He opened the weeds on one side and saw a strange egg and a gem that shone with red light. The boy was attracted by the strange egg. He carefully held it on his palm, but he didn't expect that it was just a light touch. The eggshell instantly produced a crack. He was a little surprised. A tortoise appeared out of his head. The boy was shocked. The tortoise gradually revealed its entire body. The boy suddenly found a cool pattern on the tortoise's body at this time. He had no idea that his future life would change like this. Then the boy took the tortoise home. Unexpectedly, his father suddenly came to clean up, but the house was not allowed to keep pets. If he was found out, he would die. The boy was angry. He put the tortoise on the bed and covered it with a blanket. He didn't expect that his father wanted to take the blanket to the balcony to shine, but the strange thing is that the tortoise under the blanket disappeared in the air. The boy thought he was lifted up by a bucket, but he turned around and found nothing. Just when he was wrong, he saw a magical scene. Who would have thought that a tortoise would float in the air? And at this time, the girl next door suddenly spat out her head. When he looked at it closely, he was really scared by the scene in front of him. The boy was frightened and hid in the boy's hand in order not to be found out by his father. The two of them gathered together. After his father left, the boy took out the tortoise again. It was obviously not an ordinary creature. If he left it here, something might happen. So the boy decided to release it and return to the sea. Looking at the blinded tortoise, he was very reluctant, but he had to make such a decision. He didn't know how far he had just gone. The tortoise followed the boy. Came again. He didn't look back and ran in the direction of the house. But as he walked, he found that the tortoise had appeared behind him again. What's worse, a truck was coming at a high speed. A tortoise crawled slowly on the ground, but behind him, there was a truck coming at a high speed. At the critical moment, a big hand appeared. Although the boy was almost hit, fortunately, he managed to save the tortoise. But the boy didn't know that it was a fatal injury for this tortoise. It was nothing. The boy couldn't bear to abandon it, so he took the tortoise home. But when the little master was not at home, the tortoise started a wonderful exploration journey at home. He went down from the second floor. He came to the first floor with great strength. He hurriedly went forward to search. He came to the kitchen very quickly. However, the little master's father didn't find this little thing at all. He accidentally stepped on it, and then he magically floated in the air. But he didn't expect that he was accidentally shot down by the little master's father. The little tortoise flew straight out along the iron pot, even to the back. A kitchen knife accidentally hit the ground, and this almost killed his daughter. Looking at the threat in front of him, he spat out a hot smoke in anger. When the man picked up the kitchen knife again, he didn't expect it at all. What happened just now? Looking here, I'm sure everyone knows that it's not a simple tortoise. The girl in the neighborhood found this little tortoise. It is very similar to the giant beast Gamera that has appeared before. If it's true, then it won't take long for the little tortoise to grow up. It will even fly into the sky and fire. What should we do then? The boy didn't think of a way. Just one day later, the tortoise suddenly grew much bigger. This also means that he can no longer hide at home, so the boy found his little partner overnight and transferred the little tortoise. After that, he was full of hatred. He was afraid that the little tortoise would really become a monster and leave him. The neighbor girl ran after him to comfort him, but the boy was badly injured. He didn't know that the girl was dying on the second day. The boy overheard something heartbreaking. I have to go to the hospital tomorrow for an operation, the girl said quietly. That's why I'm stepping out today, to see the view I've missed. Who knows, maybe I won't get to see it again. He just realized now how stupid he was yesterday. But soon he remembered. When he found the little tortoise, the red gem was shining. He thought that maybe he could bless the girl with a successful operation. So he found the girl and gave the gem to her. He hoped this could protect the girl from difficulties, but then, the boy wanted to tell the little tortoise about it. However, the tortoise was already gone. And worse, that very day, a monster appeared in Japan, out of nowhere, without warning, and a runaway child was accidentally trapped by a collapsed building. The boy's father was injured. The desperate rescue happened. At this moment, the man was terrified and found that he was going to die. But at the critical moment, he seemed to be saved by something. He didn't expect to come back to life. It was the legendary giant beast, a Gamera. The man was strong. He took the children to escape from the scene. He left two giant beasts to fight on the spot. But the big tortoise was not as strong as the lizard. It was thrown away hundreds of kilometers away, and the building on the way was in danger. But when he stood up, the road in front of his chest made the boy realize that the giant tortoise in front of him was the little tortoise he had just picked up. Seeing his pet being beaten, he was desperate. The boy was eager to help, but he was powerless in the battle between these two monsters. But then, he remembered the red gem he had picked up. Maybe if he returned the gem, Gamera could use her power. So the boy rushed to the hospital where the girl was treated. But when he arrived at the scene, all the people in the hospital had already gone missing. But the girl was transferred to the shelter on the other side. She also saw the scene of the little tortoise fighting. She immediately realized that this gem must be the key to the battle, so she risked her own life to pull out the leaf tube and wanted to run forward to return the gem. But the girl's move made her parents confused. Unexpectedly, she was taken back to the hospital bed, but she didn't give up. She kept shouting to return the gem. What surprised her was that the little girl next to her seemed to understand everything. "I'm waiting for you." She picked up the gem and ran straight out. There were many refugees on the street. She was blocked by a crowd of people. However, at this time, another boy on the side of the road picked up the gem. The boy ran in the direction of Gamera, but soon, he was also stopped by the police on the road. At this time, another child picked up the gem. They seemed to be running with the dead god. Although there were many difficulties on the way, the children knew that this was their only hope to save humanity. The little girl who finally took over seemed to have a huge power in her small body. For the sake of all humanity, she and the escapees retreated. At this time, Gamera faced the attack of the lizard with no strength. She was helpless. She could only bite the enemy to try to block the lizard's actions. But her plan didn't work. She saw the lizard climbing the tall building. A lizard threw Gamera away a few miles away. The big turtle was cruelly stuck on the building. However, the enemy didn't seem to want to let her go. The little girl was anxious but powerless. Fortunately, a young boy appeared with a red gem. The boy saw hope. He took the gem. He ran in the direction of Gamera. But on the other side, the lizard didn't stop. He just spat out his tongue. He pierced Gamera's abdomen instantly. The pain washed over his whole body instantly. Fortunately, at this critical moment, the boy appeared in time with the gem. But the bad thing is the lizard had come to the top of the building. He hit Gamera with his tail and pulled her out as soon as the army arrived. The boy put the gem in the big turtle's mouth, but Gamera was still hit hard on the ground. However, after a while, Gamera, who absorbed the gem, appeared in the light. She came to the lizard with a spiral sky. The kids who participated in the relay saw a winner-like smile on this scene. Gamera was a beautiful turtle. The lizard was hit hard on the ground. They thought the battle was over. Gamera wanted to go up and check it out. Unexpectedly, the enemy rushed out from the ground. They were waiting for a sneak attack. But Gamera, who was full of firepower, wouldn't be defeated by such a little trick. She grabbed the lizard's tongue with all her strength. The pattern on the lizard's abdomen appeared in the red light. It seemed that a strong force was about to erupt. The next blow will kill the lizard directly. Don't be sad. Don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. Just turn around and look at the future. A new storm has appeared. After all the dust settled down, Gamera, who had exhausted all her energy, eventually collapsed due to lack of physical strength. But she just saved a human life. The Japanese government was going to send an army to recover the giant beast, but they were soon blocked. It was the kids who blocked Jamila. In their eyes, Gamera is a hero who saves humans. A hero shouldn't be treated like this. The boy turned around and said his last goodbye. Gamera also understood the use of the little master. She used up the last bit of energy and rose to the sky again. She soon disappeared from people's sight. And that's the story of Gamera the Brave, a monster to some, but a hero to many. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Narrator Stories Recaps for more epic stories like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.